How's it going, everyone? Thanks for stopping by and checking out my channel. My name is Swanee, and for today's video, I'm going to be going over the latest patch notes for the biggest update yet for Palworld. This is patch 0.1.5.0, and it has a ton of bug fixes. But before we get to the patch notes, I'm going to take this time to tell you about today's sponsor, Hostinger. Hostinger is a virtual private server hosting site. So if you want to host your own private Palworld server that is always online for you and your friends to play on, then they've got you covered. And the best part is that their Game Panel 2 option is as little as $8.99 a month, which is the perfect plan for me and my friends because there's only 4 of us that play at a single time. It's super fast and easy to set up, and it comes with a 99.9% uptime guarantee to make sure that your server always stays up and running. They allow a ton of different customization options so you can customize your Palworld server however you want. I personally set my server up to drop extra resources, so when me and my friends are harvesting trees or ore, we will get more resources. And for a limited time, you can get an additional discount for all yearly plans by following the link in the description and using code SwaneePlays at checkout. That way, if you ever take a small break from Palworld and maybe come back later once they've added some new content, you'll still have access to your server at any time and you won't have to worry about losing your progress. So if you want to rent your own Palworld server for you and your friends, then check out the link in the description down below, and remember to use code SwaneePlays at checkout. And a big thank you again to Hostinger for sponsoring today's video. Alright, so jumping right into the patch notes, we have major fixes where they've implemented a backup of save data on the world selection screen, and they resolved an issue of unnecessary data accumulating in your save data. My guess is that there was just a bunch of unnecessary data and it was probably accumulating and causing people to crash, but that's just a guess on my part, but either way, that has been fixed. For key configuration, they've added fully supported keyboard key configuration, so that's a huge plus if you play on PC. They've made some changes to guilds. They've modified the specification to allow guild members to be removed when not logged in. So there was an issue where people wanted to kick members from their guild, but they couldn't because they would never log into the game, so that has been addressed here. There's a couple player issues that have been fixed. They changed the long press operation during tasks that allow continuous work by pressing the work button once. This is switchable in the option settings now. And they fixed an issue where riding in prohibited hunting areas would not result in a crime. And they improved interaction accuracy with adjacent objects. Then we have quite a few POW changes. They changed specifications so that when a POW is instructed to attack aggressively, the POW will attack enemies indiscriminately even if they are not in combat. They corrected an issue to allow POWs of rank 1 or higher to be selected as concentrated material. Higher ranked POWs yield more points when concentrated. They fixed a bug where if a large amount of experience points were gained and the level increased to 50 at once, POWs would not learn any active skills. And they mitigated an issue where using Moss Donna's partner skill, Grenadier Panda, on a dungeon boss would cause the boss to get stuck in walls. Then they added a ton of base issue fixes. They fixed an issue where base POWs would get stuck on top of a logging site, etc. So no more POWs glitching out on top of any of these logging sites like the trees or the stone. They added measures to prevent an issue where POWs would wander around and get stuck at the border of the base area. I personally had this issue happen all the time, so I'm glad that's getting fixed. They fixed an issue where POWs at the base would get stuck repeatedly starting transportation tasks, and the light bulb's icon would appear over and over again. They added measures to prevent the issue of base POWs getting stuck in the form of a roof. They fixed an issue where work POWs would get stuck in the summon space of a POW box when restarting the server on a dedicated server. They adjusted the default work priority of base POWs. An example is Anubis will prioritize manual labor. They significantly relaxed the building restrictions for stairs and triangular roofs, so this is going to make base building way easier if you like to use stairs. They fixed an issue where sound would play in an infinite loop when POWs at the base use certain active skills. And specifications changed so that all changes in environmental temperature are added up. If you put 4 campfires next to each other, the surrounding area will have the temperature of a volcano. So if you didn't know before this update, it didn't matter if you had 1 fire or 10 fires, it all counted as the same temperature. And it looks like now this is going to change, so now the more fires that you have, it's going to stack. So this is going to be really helpful when it comes to incubating eggs. And then they implemented a relaxed working style on the monitoring stand. So if your pals are overworked, or if you just don't want them to work at all, you can just tell them to relax and they'll just wander around the camp and just chill. Then they've done a couple of balancing adjustments. They significantly strengthened the mining power of Dig Toys partner skills. So now Dig Toys is going to be really good at mining. They fixed the abnormally high selling price of nails. They significantly increased the number of police officers who appear when a crime is committed. And then they added an electric shock effect to free PAL Alliance's crossbow. And then they adjusted the flight distance of the spear launcher and the scatter sphere launcher. And then they increased the sanity value recovery amount of high quality hot springs. So now the high quality hot springs is going to make your pals just way happier. Then they fixed a couple of network related issues. They renovated the server lobby. Search by server name will now actually work, so that's a huge plus. They added the ability to view online players on a dedicated server, and then on community servers, this will only be displayed if the setting is enabled. Then they did a couple of other fixes. They fixed an issue where Day 5 memo was not placed. You can now adjust the in-game brightness in the settings. They fixed many minor bugs that aren't listed. Then they corrected some various incorrect text. There was a couple spelling mistakes, and some of the words were still in Japanese, even though they were supposed to be in English. And then they improved some measures against cheating. And then at the bottom here, they said that we are currently working on an issue where autosave fails on the Xbox and Xbox Game Pass versions, and they expect that this will be resolved in an upcoming update. We will continue development, placing top priority on fixing major problems and issues. Thank you for your continued support of Palworld. So this is the biggest update so far for Palworld. There are a ton of bug fixes and balancing changes. I'm glad that they're working on building a strong foundation. A lot of people tend to forget that this game is in early access, so a lot of the first couple of updates are going to be about bug fixing. I know a lot of people want some additional pals and they want to see some new content, and I'm sure that stuff is coming down the road. They had over 25 million players within the first month of this game coming out on early access, so there's definitely going to be more content in the future. That, and there's already been a couple of pals that have been data mined, so they're obviously working on content. It's just going to take them a while. Plus, I would rather them fix a lot of these bugs and glitches now, right at the beginning, versus pumping out content but the game is still kind of a buggy mess. I'm glad that this update focused on a lot of the pals working around the base, because honestly, that's where most of the glitches and frustrations came from. So hopefully after this update, the pals act a lot smarter around the bases and they aren't going to get caught on stuff as often. And I'm pretty excited. I took a little bit of a break from Palworld because of Helldivers 2, but I know I'm going to be logging back into Palworld today to check out all of the new cool changes. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. That way you guys don't miss out on any future Palworld news videos. And that is going to do it for me, guys, and I'll talk to you all next time.